Joel Embiid is a foul merchant.
Real quick, I've got a quiz for y'all. Won't take long, just 3 questions. Okay, first question. Is this a foul?
Now it's Zach Collins on Joel.
No. 100% no.
If you answered no, you would be correct. Good job. Okay, it's gonna get a bit harder now. Is this a foul?
The corner, the ball fake that he's so good at. No, another offensive rebound from Embiid. And
No.
Osman blocked him.
I lied. It didn't get any harder. Because if you said no, you again are correct. Now, last question. And this will stump even the biggest Hoops fans. Is this a foul?
Simon.
Reese Maxey over to Joel Embiid,
Bro.
who already dropped.
And you got it right. Because of course you did. Because this is obviously not a foul. At least not to
Foul
anyone who's
merchant.
played or watched or even been around basketball at any capacity in their life. And yet Joel Embiid continues to feast off of these phantom calls night after night. How is he doing this? Has he performed witchcraft on these refs? Does Embiid have dirt on Adam Silver? How is this a foul? Is Joel Embiid cheating the game? Or
That's a
is
foul. That one's a foul. This one's a foul.
Silver? How is this a foul? Is
Not this
Joel
one.
Embiid
This one's a foul.
cheating the
This one's a
game?
foul.
Or is he just using the rules to his advantage like countless other players before him?
Harden, Trae Young. I saw a stat where Embiid has more foul shot attempts than Prime Shaq. Prime Hacker Shaq.
Do y'all remember back in the early 2000s when Shaquille O'Neal was so dominant that teams
right
would
in
just
there.
hack him on purpose to try to stop him? I
Bro,
mean,
right
the
on
strategy
time.
was genius.
Right on
Throughout
time.
his prime, Shaq shot 76% from the field within 3 feet of the hoop. Send him to the line where he shot an
50.
abysmal 52%, and you've essentially found yourself an in-game cheat code. Every time a team fouled Shaq while he was deep in the paint, they saved themselves about
Bro, I was literally thinking about this because I was looking at it. 76% is basically 1.5 points, and then 52% would be 1.04.
code. Every time a
1.06.
team fouled Shaq while he was deep in the paint, they saved themselves about
1.35.
a half a point. Foul him enough, and this half-point advantage starts to add up very quickly. And so this is exactly what teams did. From 2000 through 2002, the 3-year peak of Shaq's NBA career, he attempted 11.4 free throws a game, leading the league in free throw attempts every season by a wide margin. Over the past 3 seasons, Joel Embiid has averaged 11.8 free throw attempts per game, lived in the paint, and was getting sent to the line on purpose so much that the act of fouling him literally has its own name. And Joel
Hack-a-Shack.
Embiid somehow shoots more free throws than he did. Throughout the last 45 years of modern NBA history, Embiid has more career free throw attempts per game than any other player, with now over 10 free throw attempts per game.
Bro, Luka's a foul merchant as well. I'll name all the foul merchants in the league currently. Luka, Trae Young, SGA, Austin Reeves, Damian Lillard, James Harden.
Any other player, with now over 10 free throw attempts per game. The first player to climb over double digits since Wilt Chamberlain did it in the 60s. James Harden spent half a decade as the best scorer in the league and was almost disregarded throughout those 4 years because of his foul baiting and rule bending. And
Yeah.
even he is all the way down here. But Embiid's knack for drawing fouls goes even further, because here are the most frequent free throw shooters in NBA history based on free throw attempts per 36 minutes. Here's LeBron, here's Jordan, here's James Harden, and way up here is Shaquille O'Neal. And here's
Embiid's up there.
This is outrageous. The foul merchant label Embiid has earned himself over the last few years, as harsh as it is, may just be the reality of his game. This season, Embiid has been on a tear, averaging the 2nd most points per game in a season in modern NBA history, and being well on his way to winning back-to-back MVPs. It's been a historic season. for
Nah,
the
he's
big man
not
so
getting
far.
enough
His team is
games.
winning,
I don't think he's
putting
gonna
up big
win it,
numbers and
'cause I don't
historic
think he's
performances.
gonna play
We should
enough
be
games.
celebrating Embiid right now. But we're not. The NBA community has collectively turned its back on Joel and rebuked his achievements this season because the man is cheating. Well,
He's not technically cheating, but that's why we call him foul merchant. Exaggerating contact, flopping.
not really, but kind of. He isn't breaking any rules or anything. He's just breaking the sort of unwritten code laid in place for NBA players around the league. The antics, the gimmicks, the way he's
Yup.
drawing fouls and flopping all over the court
Yup.
has become so egregious that
Yup.
even 36 points a night has not spared him from criticism. Last week, Embiid had a monster performance against the Spurs where he dropped 70 points and 18 rebounds on
Bro, Jeremy Sochan was guarding him the entire second half. Wemby was in foul trouble. I was watching the game. Wemby was in foul trouble, and then Pop put Jeremy Sochan on him. And then that's when it was over.
68% true shooting. According to the NBA's game score metric, Embiid's game ranks as the 4th best single game performance in modern NBA history.
Luka was there. I saw this as well. Luka's 73-point game. Amazing, man.
Years in amazement, fans were left unimpressed, even repulsed by the clinic Embiid put on. All of this criticism stemming from one major issue people have with Embiid's game right now. Free throws, and more free throws. 70 points is mind-boggling, but if 30% of those points come from the line, and how you got to the line was suspect in the first place, does this performance still have any merit? Or is it just one big display of...
It does, because I know like all the big outburst games, most 60-plus point games, the guys go to a line at least 15-plus times.
How a player has mastered...
Even Luka went to a line a lot during his 73-point game.
...and gimmicks of the game we love. Well, it's probably a little bit of both. We know teams foul Giannis a lot to slow him down. We know Kobe Bryant was a master at baiting players into fouls. And we just discussed how Shaq got to the line so much because teams wanted him there. Embiid, on the other hand, is probably closer to a prime James Harden in this sense than he is to a traditional dominant big. For years, NBA fans couldn't stand the way James Harden played the game. His point totals were seen as just a symptom of the way he would bend the rules to his favor and manipulate the games to boost his numbers. And he might have actually been able to beat these allegations if his antics actually worked in the playoffs. But they never quite did. Embiid, at least at this moment.
That's why Embiid and Harden's shrink in the playoffs, because the ref swallows the whistle. Pause.
It's cut from the same cloth. Crazy numbers, historic nights, while stacking up scoring titles off of seemingly pure tricks and schemes. At least this is the general perception right now. But is this the reality of Embiid's game? Or are we just a bit too skeptical of his dominance? Here's a game from Michael Jordan's 1989-1990 season, the game where he scored a career-high 69 points. And by this point, he was the NBA's premier superstar. And so he got superstar calls, like this one, and this one,
Jordan gets Elo airborne.
oh, and this one too. In fact, during this away game, Cavaliers fans were losing it over the disparity in calls and favoritism the refs were showing Michael.
Into the 7-footer Purdue. Cleveland wanted to get a foul against Jordan. It didn't come. Purdue with another rebound.
Now watch Michael get to the line here. They're going to really get mad.
He got into the paint, gets the two.
And for good measure, here's another one. The existence of superstars getting treated different than other players is not new to the NBA. And I show you all of this to say that not only...
What even are superstar calls in reality? If you get fouled, it should be called regardless if you're a star or not, right? You know,
is Joel Embiid not the first player to use the rules to his advantage, but he's also not the first player to receive favorable superstar treatment. A few years ago, Peter Lee, a data analyst and NBA fan, wrote a great piece about the idea of superstar calls and the validity of their existence. He then categorized every player in the league based on merit into 3 tiers: superstars, stars, and non-stars. Now, what makes this research next level is that last 2-minute data is the most objective method to review officiating in the NBA. Since its introduction in 2015, last 2-minute data documents every call made within the last 2 minutes of every game that is within 3 points. All of these calls are then reviewed and reported by a league operations team to determine the accuracy of each and every call. And within his data, Peter tracked over 38,000 of these calls from nearly 2,000 games from 2015 to 2019. And after reviewing this data, he concluded that superstars are over 20% more likely to be advantaged on offensive calls compared to even stars of the league. In other words, superstars are more likely to get a foul call where there wasn't a foul 20% more often than anyone else. Overall, the referees tend to swallow their whistle and make incorrect no calls at a relatively even rate across all player groups, but are more likely to give lenient foul calls to superstars on offense.
So when guys get better, they get the advantage of calls. But then if you're a rookie and you're bad, then you have to work your way up.
In the description if anyone wants to check it out. And all of this data just confirms what we already knew. Superstars get calls. So then why is Joel Embiid getting criticized for being on the receiving end of this star treatment when countless players before him did the same thing? Joel Embiid is the reigning MVP and scoring champion. Of course he's going to get some favorable calls going his way. But just like referees give preferential treatment to superstars, fans give preferential treatment to certain players as well. Specifically, players who have proven that their tactics and antics actually work when it matters. 36 points per game is no fluke. But when your production and efficiency plummet by nearly 25% in the postseason, and
that's what I said before, Embiid and Harden,
your superpowers wear off when your team needs you most, all of a sudden that 36 a night feels a bit fraudulent. I feel like at this point in his career, Embiid's reputation precedes him. And right now, even above his incredible scoring abilities, his reputation is a choke artist. The man is a legit megastar, but it is still difficult to just look past his playoff blunders. You want to know if a player's playstyle is actually effective, if it's more than just a quick gimmick, if it works in the playoffs.